Hey Tracy, finally the day is here where we are going to do a walk around, video walk around of your van. I don't know if you've actually met Sam in video form yet. This is Cal, who's done all the amazing woodwork. So the boys are just going to walk you around. I'll just be the video man and walk you through everything that's done. It's obviously been a far bigger project than I think all of us anticipated, but yeah, she's been a big rebuild and looks amazing now. So I'll hand over to Sam. He can just start to run through. This might take 10 or 15 minutes, Tracy, but yeah, I think it's important.
To get through.
Yeah, I think it's important you see everything we've done.
So, starting from the front, we've cleaned up the drawbar and repainted that in a silver, just to match the aluminium that's there.
I think Velcro had to fix up some poor welding and stuff too, didn't they? When
There were some damaged they were actually corroded, the welds along here, so they wire brushed those back and then re-welded them. We're going to be sending that around to them shortly just to have the tire mount put on.
And the stair welded on.
Stair welded on, around the other side. I'll get to that. The front, obviously, we needed to replace the aluminium. So that was a huge job. To do that, we had to pull all of this back. So we took off the frames, pulled out the existing perspex, took out the front window, took off the J-rails, and then pulled off the old aluminium front. As you know, once we did that, we uncovered quite a bit of wood rot and damage in there. So Cal spent a considerable amount of time chopping all that out, fabricating or cutting and sizing new pieces of timber to sit in and provide the structural rigidity to put the new aluminium back on. And in doing that as well, there were areas on the sides which had rotted out and needed to be replaced. So we repaired the framework underneath those, installed a new piece of ply in 7mm, which was this quite a strange thickness that had been used back in the day for this, and then we had to put a top coat on to match the existing, as that's what had been done previously there. You can see we did the same thing here, which again required removal of the J-rail, digging it all out, fixing the framework up and installing a new piece of ply along there, and then skim coating it to feather it in with the existing so that it's all flush. For the aluminium itself, we actually had to get the aluminium machine rolled at a place in Lismore, because nowhere, it's actually quite uncommon to have a roller this wide. It's not a very common thing for people to get aluminium rolled at that width. So we went out there to get that done and installed that, and then once we'd done that, we put everything back on, resealed all the windows. We actually put new perspex in all 4 windows, front and back, because of the way that those windows were actually fixed in. It meant that unfortunately they broke when removing them. Actually, it was polycarbonate that we put back in, which is really strong stuff. We've actually replaced all the aluminium framework there as well with brand new aluminium edging, because the old stuff, we gave it a quick clean and a little polish up, and it just, next to the new aluminium front, just looked horrible. So we thought it best to replace that. And then we've just given the front on the roof a polish up, just to help it not stick out like a sore thumb against the new stuff. That was the front, wasn't it, Cal? Nothing more that you can think of there?
Yeah, just the window frames were also rebuilt, so all in here. This is all new window framing inside. The timber was all rotten as well, so we replaced all that.
On both sides. We'll just continue around. So obviously, to do all this, we had to pull out not only the front windows but all of the side windows as well, because they coincided with areas that we needed to do repair works on. You can see here we've got the timber half dowel in, which we saw your email and tried both locations, one below the window and one in line with where the existing paint delineation was, and we actually think this location looked a lot better, so we went with that one in the end, and we've just cut it off where the window is, as you can see. We've built and installed new wheel spats, which look 10 times better than what was there before, to be honest. The other ones look shocking, horrible shape. So that looks really good. Coming round to the back, it's the same story with replacing the aluminium, having to pull off the J-rails and the entire window componentry, and replacing all the timber inside because it had all rotted. And actually, to be honest, it had previous repair work done to it, but it was dodgy. Like, it was 4 pieces of small timber stacked on top of each other with a bit of glue, like it was just waiting to fall apart. And we actually primed all that timber that's in there as well, just to protect it in the unlikely event in the future that water does get in there. It'll have a bit more resistance to rot and mould and things like that. On the side here, you can see again, there was a ton of rot on this panel. So we cut all that out and again, replaced it with the ply, skin coated it to match the existing before we put everything back on. We obviously, like I said at the front, replaced the windows there with new frames, freshly sealed with butyl to stop any further rot on the frames. Were these window frames rebuilt as well, Cal?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we've also installed a brand new window at the back with a fly screen, and basically rebuilt some of the framework around that to allow for the installation of it. Was there previously, there was issues with the wiring initially, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So we've fixed up one of them, and we're going to get the auto electrician next door to have a look at the other one, because there seems to be an issue still with that indicator there. And then again, this was all heavily pitted. We sanded it back and then polished it. The pitting here on both sides is unfortunately too much to bring back to a smooth finish. It's just the nature of aluminium being a porous metal. But we think it looks pretty good, and definitely much better than it did initially.
Yep.
Then coming around here, again, we've got the timber dowel there. The spat, we noticed on this J-rail here, there actually was a lot of holes in the J-rail, and they obviously allow water to enter in and damage the plywood. So we've gone through, we've sealed all those holes with some sealant, and we've put new screws in it just to prevent any water getting into there. We've put the porthole in here. Just open this up so you can see it from both. So that's in there. That's all been sealed to prevent any water getting in. And then last thing is we've put a brand new, we've kept the original aluminium
eyelid.
Yeah. Just because it looks super cool. But we've actually replaced the electrical componentry inside with a brand new clipsal component there. Coming inside,
Got the screen door.
yeah, there's the screen door, custom built screen door there.
Yep.
We've obviously laid the floor
The right way now.
lengthways. We've got skirting installed all around. We've got the drawers installed under here.
They were a bit of extra work, weren't they, Sam? Because there's actually,
Yeah, so we,
I don't know if you recall, Tracy, but there's a bit of an angle on the drawers there, so they had to.
and obviously within there we had to cut out some of the framework that was damaged, and actually build some framework inside there to actually fix the runners and so on for the drawers. So that, yeah, there was a little bit of mucky around in there. There's your 12-volt battery. We've painted inside under all the seats and inside all the cupboards, etc. This is the kitchen, which looks pretty amazing. We've got the LED strip lighting under there, the cracked ice tabletop here, hinged, and we've also installed a little mechanism there just to stop it falling down. I don't think there was one previously installed, so we put that in. We've converted the cupboards here, so you've got a cupboard here that has the microwave in it. We've just got the plastic and stuff still on it, and another one just down there where the wheel arch is.
Original taps back in. Which
Yep.
look great.
They're back in and we've tested those, they're working. You've got the splashback here, which we salvaged from the original aluminium on the front. That's what the texture is there, and we've just put a nice trim around that. There's your new fridge. We obviously had to modify the opening there because it was too big from memory, wasn't it, Cal?
Too small. The fridge wouldn't fit in there.
Oh, it was too high and too narrow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so we
Had to build it up at the bottom
built it up at the bottom and widened it.
and trimmed it with nice new
We
aluminium.
put some nice trim in there.
Yeah.
We've also done, I just realised then, these are the fly screens we've built, but we've also done the same inside the front window there. We've put a nice new aluminium trim around that. Okay. That just about. Oh, so then inside the cupboards, the Sparky's come through and like really tidied up the wiring because it was an absolute mess. He's put conduit in. He's also replaced most of the wiring, actually, I think, because it was of a size that was not to code, and had the potential to basically overheat and burn the caravan to the ground. So you've got your switches here for the light and the LED strip. The 12-volt works by simply just clicking the button there when your battery's hooked up and on. And he's put in new outlets. One there, replace the switches.
A hatch.
Okay. So the hatch, yep, we've put a fly screen on there, and we've effectively rebuilt the entire hatch. The existing hatch, as you know, I sent you a photo, it was like Swiss cheese covered in holes, and we thought that repairing it, whilst possible, could have been problematic and was likely to in the future let water in, so we've built a new one. We've put in new mechanisms here, just opens like that, and we've also actually modified the hatch surrounds. You can see we've put in brand new aluminium in there, and that's actually just to raise it, because previously it was something like that high, which isn't great for keeping water out, particularly when you're driving. So we've done that and installed a new fly screen there. Alright, in the wardrobe we've modified the wardrobe as requested. You've got some hanging space here still, and then you've got some shelves just for general storage. Obviously, the doors haven't. We put the doors back on mainly just to make sure that when we'd modified things, everything fit back together. We didn't want to be you guys painting the doors and then trying to put them back on and there being issues with the hinges or with the installation of the doors, particularly the ones we constructed. In the dining area here, we've got the laminate timber top. We are just waiting for the aluminium edging. We ran out the other day and we will have that on tomorrow to finish that off nicely. Super simple mechanism here. I know you said you wanted an aluminium leg, and we found a fairly nice retro looking one which we've put on. You literally just lift it up, squeeze it together, the leg folds away, and the table's quite light. You just lift it up and it goes down. And that's your bed there. So we've cut it to this size just to allow access into the seated area. We tried to originally cut it so that it was filling up the space on the seating a bit more, but it was impossible to actually get into the seated area like that, so that's the reason we've cut it like that. We replaced the tops on the seats here as well, if you recall, and we've built these new storage areas here, which have been lined with a nice marine style carpet. This is the window we've installed, which is really nice.
Custom built.
Custom built for this, and we've put a fly screen on there as well. All the windows have fly screens that we've built for them. All the mechanisms on the fly screens have been tested and serviced so that they're working. We've also put a new window stays on that one. That one was missing window stays. And we've replaced a couple of locks and things like that just to make sure the windows are all functional and tied down when you're driving. That's probably the only thing that we're needing to fix, is just that light. We're not sure whether that actually came with the glass like this one did. When we disassembled the van, we put everything into specified storage containers and we only had the one in there, so we're assuming there was only one to begin with. We're going to try and source one and get it in there so that there's protection on it. I think that just about covers. Yeah,
Here's the screen door.
Here's the screen door, and again, we're just going to give this a little bit of a polish up, but we've again reused the aluminium that was on the front and back of the caravan, the textured aluminium, which looks really nice, and we've got some timber dowel in there to match the external dowel as well, as you can see. And the hinges have all been, I mean, they weren't in great condition. We've given them a clean and a polish and brought them up as best that was possible. Some of them have a little bit of pitting and corrosion, which is just the nature of the material, but all in all they look pretty good. I think that just about covers it. We have done some plumbing as well. Cal did some plumbing. We've tested the 12 volt system. Cal?
Yep. 12 volt water's working great. Tank's working, pump's working. It's all flowing nicely. Yeah.
Great.
Sweet.
All right. So that's about 20 minutes there. It's the next best thing to you actually being able to do a walkthrough yourself. Yeah, but I think it just looks amazing. Hopefully it's coming up well in the video, and I think obviously once you get the matching cushions, just like the last van we did, Dorothy, I think once you get all your matching cushions and your curtains or blinds or whatever it is you're putting on, and The cupboard doors painted, and James has done the outside. It's quite spectacular, So hopefully that excites you and gives you a really good indication of just what's gone on in the last few months. Yeah, we're really excited for you guys to take delivery of this. So I'm about to hook it up now and take it around to WeldCro. They're going to weld the stair on. You've got a brand new pull-out stair on the front, and I'll get that, as we spoke about yesterday, Tracy, I'll get that spare wheel put as close to the front as possible. And then there's a last-minute touch-up paints. There always is. So we'll do a last-minute touch-up paint and detail and clean, and should be good to go.
Yep. And we'll send you a full list of what I just discussed then, and there's probably things that we've missed that aren't visibly obvious that we've done. So yeah, we'll fill you in on all that when we shoot an email through.
Great. Thanks, Tracy.